The speed of communication is wondrous to behold. It is also true that speed can multiply the distribution of information we know to be untrue. That was according to Edward R. Murrow. Good day everyone, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. We are the fifth reporter and we are going to talk about the specific issues in science and technology. I am Firdaus Abdullah together with my team, Jamaica Gafur Nul, Eideliela Paguital, Ayesha Ampatuan, Porsha Mae Cemacio, City Ayessah Meditar, and Thania Balabaran. Here are the target report outline. We are going to discuss the introduction and history of information age, and we will also tackle computer, World Wide Web, application of computers in science and research, and how to check the reliability of web resources. Highly modernized, automated, data-driven, and technologically advanced. These best describe our society nowadays, as evidenced by how information can be transferred or even shared quickly. The different areas of society have been influenced tremendously, such as in communication, when we talk to someone, when we communicate to them, in our economics, the status of our money, of our wealth in the society, the industry, health, and even our environment. But let us be reminded that despite our gains due to the growing development of information technology, the rapid upgrade of information has also disadvantages. We should put in our minds that despite all of the positive things, if this will not be used in moderation, then this will result to negative or disadvantages. In our generation, our daily life is accompanied by endless transmission of information that takes place within and outside the human body, whether in our homes, in workplace, schools, or even in the small talks we do. According to Webster's Encyclopedic Unabridged Dictionary, information is knowledge communicated or obtained concerning a specific fact or circumstance. In their definition, they see information as a knowledge that we can acquire and transmit to others in different ways pertaining to a subject or a situation in our life. Moreover, the information age is defined as a period starting in the last quarter of the 20th century when information became effortlessly accessible through publications and through the management of information by computers and computer networks. It is also said that the means of conveying symbolic information, such as writing, arithmetics, and other codes among humans, has evolved tremendously with increasing speed. That is why the information age is also called the digital age and the new media age, because it was associated with the development of computers that we are all using in different purposes, may it be for communication, for entertainment, and now in the online class as a learning tool. On the other hand, according to James R. Messenger, who proposed the theory of information age in 1982, he described the information age, and I quote, "The information age is a true new age based upon the interconnection of computers via telecommunication, with this information system operating on both a real-time and basis. Furthermore, the primary factor driving this new age forward are convenience and user-friendliness, which in turn will create user dependence." In his definition, he meant that the improvement, or let's say the development of computers, are navigated by instant processes that makes our life easier, and in return, we also have the freedom to express and use it in the way we want to.
Good day everyone, I am Shaina, Ayessah o Meditar. My assigned topic is the history. So first, I am going to discuss the timeline of the information age. In 3000 BC, Sumerian writing system used pictographs to represent word. Kasi diba kapag ang letters nag-combine into words, and then pinagsama-sama ito at doon nagkakaroon na ng information or nabuo yung gusto mong i-relay na message. 2900 BC is the beginning of Egyptian hieroglyphic writing. Parang same lang to sa pictographs. In 1300 BC, tortoise shell and oracle bone writing used in that time. Kinukuha nila yung shell, yung bones ng tortoise kung saan pinapainit nila ito at doon makikita yung nakasulat o nakaukit sa buto. And yun yung pinapaniwalaan nila na nakikipag-message sa kanila ang Panginoon. So, yun yung way para makipag-usap ang ating mga ninuno sa kanilang Panginoon o Diyos at Diyosa. 500 BC, papyrus roll was used. 200 BC, Chinese small seal writing was developed. 100 AD, book Parchment Codex. It is essentially an ancient book consisting of one or more quires of sheets of parchment folded together to form pages. 105 AD, wood block printing invented by Chinese. 1445, Johannes Gutenberg invented printing press using movable metal type. Printing press played a key role in the advancement of the Renaissance. 1755, Samuel Johnson's dictionary standardized English spelling. It is one of the most famous dictionaries in history. 1802, the Library of Congress was established, and in the same year, the invention of the carbon arc lamp. It is a lamp that produces light by an electric arc invented by Humphry Davy. 1824, Research on Persistence of Vision, published by Peter Roget. Persistence of vision is the phenomenon of the eye by which an after-image is thought to persist for approximately 1/25th of a second on the retina. 1830s, first visible design for a digital computer, and same year August Lady Byron writes the world's first computer program. 1837, invention of the telegraph in Great Britain and the United States. 1861, motion pictures were projected onto a screen. 1876, the decimal system was introduced. It provides a shorthand, identification, and location tool. 1877, Edward Muybridge demonstrated high-speed photography. It uses high-speed stop-motion photography to capture a horse's motion. In 1899, first magnetic recording were released. 1902, motion picture special effects were used. In 1906, Lee De Forest invented the electronic amplifying tube. 1923, television camera tube, or the iconoscope, was invented by Zworykin. He is the father of television. Iconoscope was an early electronic camera tube to scan an image for the transmission of television. Next slide is 1926, first practical sound movie. 1939, regularly scheduled television broadcasting begins in the US. And in 1940s, beginning of information science as discipline. 1945, Vannevar Bush foresaw the invention of hypertext. It has surprisingly rich history compared to most phenomena in the personal computer industry. 1946, ENIAC computer was developed. It was Turing complete and able to solve a large class of numerical problems through reprogramming. Okay, next slide is 1948, birth of field of information theory proposed by Claude E. Shannon. 1957, planar transistor developed by Gene Homey. 1958, first integrated circuit by Jack Kilby. He invented it at Texas Instruments. In 1960s, Library of Congress was developed. LC Mark, or the machine readable code. In 1969, UNIX operating system was developed, which could handle multitasking. It was quickly adapted for another computer, and the team ported or modified it to PDP-11 by late 1970. Okay, next slide. In 1971, Intel introduced the first microprocessor chip. In 1972, optical laser disc developed by Philips and MCA, or the Music Corporation of America. In 1974, MCA and Philips agreed on a standard video disc encoding format. 1975, Altair microcomputer kit was released, the first personal computer for the public. The MIT's Altair 8800 was extremely successful market product in that time. In 1977, Radio Shack introduced the first personal computer, the TRS-80. It was the first complete pre-assembled small computer system on the market, and also it is the personal computer that beat Apple for a while. In 1984, Apple Macintosh computer was introduced, and it was first commercially successful personal computer to feature two old-known, then but still unpopular features, the mouse and the graphical user interface, rather than the common line interface of its predecessors. Mid-1980s, artificial intelligence was separated from information science. In 1987, HyperCard was developed by Atkinson Recipe Box. In 1991, 450 complete works of literature on one CD-ROM was released. January 1997, RSA, Encryption and Network Security Software Internet Security, code cracked for a 48-bit number. So, all in all, up to now, marami pa ring invention about sa information age. And syempre, mas magaganda na yung ngayon, di ba? Yung mga computers, TV, panipis na ng panipis, and pa-improve na ng pa-improve. And may iba't ibang set na rin. And also, social medias, ang dami na rin. Basta lahat na nagbibigay ng information, ito ay kasali sa information age. Yung mga nakalagay lang po kasi dito sa PowerPoint is hanggang 90s lang po. Hindi po ibig sabihin na wala dito sa PowerPoint, wala nang improvement yung information age ngayon. Okay, next slide. Okay, this picture shows the evolution of man and information. As man evolved, information and its dissemination has also evolved in many ways. Eventually, we no longer kept them to ourselves. Instead, we share them and manage them in different means. Information got ahead of us. It started to grow at a rate we were unprepared to handle. Because of the abundance of information, it was difficult to collect and manage them starting in the 1960s and 1970s. During the 1980s, real angst set in. Richard Berman called it information anxiety. Because of too much dependent information, ito ang nagiging negative natin, the information anxiety. Human cause of information overload because of too much information that is available in the market or in the surroundings. Nagkakaroon tayo ng overload information. Di natin alam kung ano yung tunay dahil sa dami na ng invention o naiimbento na bagay. Di natin alam kung ito ba ay mali o tunay o ayos. So, sa sobrang available ng information sa surroundings natin, nagkakaroon na ng too much information overload. In the 1990s, information became the currency in the business world. Information was the preferred medium of exchange, and the information managers served as information officers. In the present generation, there is no doubt that information has turned out to be commodity, an overloaded product, mass-produced, and unspecialized. Soon, we become overloaded with it. Different authors have diverse, constructing ideas on the evolution of the information age. In spite of this, we can still say that information is a very important tool that helps improve our way of life. One thing is for sure, the information age will continue to move forward and far greater than our minds could imagine. Thank you. Next reporter.
So, I am Ayesha Ampatuan, and here are some facts on the information age made by Robert Harris in his article. So, first fact, the information must compete. A need exists for information to stand out and be recognized in the increasing clutter, the data smog that surrounds us. Second fact, newer is equated with truer. We have lost the sense that any fact or value can endure. Third fact, selection is a viewpoint. Here, if you want to receive a more balanced view of reality, choose multiple sources for your information and don't just look for one or choose for one. Choose multiple sources. Fourth fact, the media sells what the culture buys. In other words, information is shaped or driven by cultural priorities. Fifth fact, the early word gets the perm. The first media outlet to cover an issue often defines the terms, context, and attitudes surrounding it. Sixth fact, you are what you eat, and so is your brain. If certain ideas are never presented to you, you cannot draw adequate conclusions. Unless only draw conclusions unless all the ideas and information are already presented to you. Seventh fact, anything in great demand will be counterfeited. The demand for incredible knowledge, scandals, and secrets is ever present. Hence, many events are fabricated by tabloids publicists, other agents of information fraud. And this is common in international artists, especially in Hollywood. So, the eighth fact, all ideas are seen as controversial. It is almost certainly impossible to make any assertion that will not find some supporters and some detractors. Ninth fact, undead information walks ever on. Rumors, lies, disinformation, and gossips never truly die down. They persist and continue to circulate. 10th fact, media presence creates the story. So, people behave much differently from the way they would if being filmed. When the media are present, especially film news or television media, so nag-iiba talaga sila kapag iba yung pinapakita nila sa film at iba yung pinapakita nila kapag walang camera. 11th fact, the medium selects the message. Television is mainly pictorial, partially oral, and slightly textual. So, visual stories are emphasized. Fires, chases, and disasters. And last fact, the whole truth pursuit. The information that reaches us is usually selected, verbally changed, or charged. They are filtered, slanted, and sometimes fabricated. What is neglected is often even more important than what is included. That would be all in the facts on the information age.
Good day, everyone. I'm Jamaica Nul. Moving on to the next topic, I'll be discussing computer. First off, what is a computer? A computer is an electronic device that stores and processes data information. According to ushistory.org, in 2017, a computer runs on a program that contains the exact step-by-step directions to solve a problem. Computers are most important contribution of advances in the information age of society. So, as we all know, computers are now a fact of life. It makes people's lives easier, comfortable, and more bearable. Sinasabi dito na computers are most important contribution of advances in the information age of society, which is indeed true even today kasi kahit tayo na-experience natin kung gaano ka-convenient ang paggamit ng computers. Now, let us know more about computers by identifying its types. First, we have personal computers and desktop computers. Personal computer. A personal computer is a single-user instrument. It is first known as microcomputers since they were a complete computer but built on a smaller scale than enormous systems operated by most businesses. Generally, a personal computer was designed to be used by a single end user or an individual lang with no intervening computer operator. So, it is basically a small computer whose size, capabilities, and price are suitable for a particular user lang. If you're wondering what's the difference between a personal computer and a desktop computer, it is basically wala. Wala silang difference is because a desktop computer is an example of personal computers. Other examples include laptop, tablet, or handheld PC na kung saan it is also used by a single end user. Second type of computer is a desktop computer. A desktop computer is described as a PC or personal computer that is not designed for portability. The assumption with a desktop is that it will be set up in a permanent spot. Meaning, kahit na personal computer siya, what makes it different from it is that a desktop computer is mainly designed to stay in a single location and set up in a permanent spot. A desktop computer is a personal computing device designed to fit on top of a typical office desk or table due to its size and power requirement. And from the term itself, desktop, meaning the top surface of a desk. On the other hand, a workstation is simply a desktop computer that has a more powerful processor, additional memory, and enhanced capabilities for performing special group of tasks such as 3D graphics or game development. Also, the difference between a personal computer and workstation is that PC has enough power to do most tasks such as email, web surfing, and word processing. But a workstation has a more power. It can handle animation, data analysis, and photorealistic renderings as well as video and audio creation and editing. For the other types of computer, we have laptops, PDAs or personal digital assistants, and server. Laptops. Laptops are portable computers that integrate the essentials of a desktop computer in a battery-powered package, which are somewhat larger than a typical hardcover book. They are commonly called notebooks. So, ang laptop computer is a small personal computer lang which are designed to be more portable than traditional desktop computers, with many of the same abilities lang of course. What's good about laptop is yung pagiging convenient niya sa isang user. Why? It's because laptops are able to be folded flat for transportation and pwede mo siyang ilagay sa kahit anong bag like briefcase or backpacks, ganyan, kasi mas manipis siya and mas magaan siya compared sa desktop computer. Basically, a laptop derives its name from being able to be used by resting on a person's lap without the need for a desk or other surface. Laptop computers may also be referred to as a notebook computers. The fourth type is personal digital assistants or PDAs. Personal digital assistants are tightly integrated computers that usually have no keyboards but rely on a touch screen for user input. These are typically smaller than a paperback, lightweight, and battery-powered according to ushistory.org in 2017. Okay, so personal digital assistants are also known as handheld PC, and these are small networked computers that can fit in the palm of your hand. It is a handheld mobile device used for personal or business tasks such as scheduling, calculator, note-taking pad, and managing your calendar, and it functions as your personal information manager. So, para siyang smartphone but basically it's not kasi PDAs are handheld organizer, ganyan sa picture kung makikita nyo. And hindi lahat ng features na meron sa smartphone ay meron sa PDAs. Firstly, personal digital assistants are not capable and meant for calling whereas smartphone, pwede kang makipagtawagan. And pangalawa, smartphones are internet-enabled phone whereas ang PDAs are not. It cannot be connected to an internet. Next is server. A server refers to a computer that has been improved to provide network services to other computers. Servers usually boast powerful processors, tons of memory, and large hard drives, according to ushistory.org in 2017. So, a server is a piece of computer hardware or software that provides resources, services, or data to other computers, and it also provides functionality for other programs or devices called clients. Okay, para saan ba ang servers? Servers manage network resources. For instance, a user may set up a server to control access to a network and send or receive email. It can manage print jobs or host a website. So, how does it work? So, to function a server, a device must be configured to listen to clients' requests on a network connection. This functionality can exist as a part of the operating system as an installed application, role, or combination of the two. And we're down to our last two types of networks, which are mainframes and wearable computers. Mainframes. Mainframes are huge computer systems that can fill an entire room. They are used especially by large firms to describe the large, expensive machines that process millions of transactions every day. The term mainframe has been replaced by enterprise server. Although some supercomputers are single computer systems, most comprise multiple, high-performance, parallel computers working as a single system, according to ushistory.org in 2017. Itong mainframes naman are a type of computer that generally are known for their large size, amount of storage, processing power, and high level of reliability. And it first appeared in the early 1940s. Large organizations primarily used them for mission-critical applications requiring high volumes of data processing, which normal computers cannot do. And one advantage that can be considered on a mainframe computer is that when it comes to scalability, mainframes provide the ideal platform for big data analytics, data warehouses, production processing, and web applications while supporting millions of users with superior performance. And the last type of computer is the wearable computers. Wearable computers involve materials that are usually integrated into cell phones, watches, and other small objects or places. They also perform common computer applications such as databases, email, multimedia, and scheduler, according to ushistory.org in 2017. A wearable computer is also known as a wearable or body-worn computer. It is a small computing device worn on the body. The main purpose of wearable computer is to serve as an effective tool for information processing. This allows you to work, communicate, entertain right along ensuring mobility and hands-free and eyes-free access to the device. And I know some of you are familiar with the Apple Watch, which is a perfect example of wearable computer na makikita natin everywhere. And a wearable computer is a more personal device compared to a laptop or smartphone as it is worn on the body, customized for the concrete person and gathered individual, often confidential information. And this ends with my part. Now let's move on to the next reporter. Once again, I'm Jamaica Nul. Thank you and good day.
My name is Bai Thania Balabaran. My topic is all about World Wide Web or WWW. First, I want to clarify that there is a lot of information about World Wide Web or also known as WWW. So I just took the ones that are easier to use or learn and more important. And this is how they are used and for what purpose. First, who invented the WWW and in what year? He is Tim Berners-Lee, a British scientist, invented the World Wide Web in 1989 while working at CERN or CERN. The web was originally conceived and developed to meet the demand for automated information sharing between scientists in universities around the world. What is full meaning of WWW? World Wide Web stand for World Wide Web. It is important to know that this is not a synonym for the internet. The World Wide Web, or just the web as ordinary people call it, is a subset of the internet. The web consists of pages that can be accessed using a web browser. How can I access the World Wide Web? Users access the World Wide Web facilities via a client called a browser, which provides transparent access to the www servers. If a local www client is not available on your computer, you may use a client at a remote site. This can be an easy way to start using this web. What is WWW used for? It connected the world in a way that was not possible before and made it much easier to people to get information, share and communicate. It allowed people to share their work and thoughts through social networking, sites, blogs, and video sharing. The World Wide Web made it much easier for people to share information. What is World Wide Web examples? The World Wide Web is another way to describe the internet, which is a network of computers which are connected and that share information and allow communication around the world. An example of the World Wide Web is the internet. What is WWW and its features? The World Wide Web is a system for displaying text, graphics, and audio retrieved over a hypertext document with its corresponding text hyperlinks is written in hypertext markup language or also known as HTML and is assigned an online address called the Uniform Resource Locator or also known as URL. What is the difference between WWW and Internet? The World Wide Web or Web for short are the pages you see when you are at device and you are online. But the internet is the network of connected computers that the web works on, as well as what emails and files travel across. The World Wide Web contains the things you see on the roads like houses and shops. What is www? How does function? www stands for World Wide Web. It is used before any website to search for website on the internet or web. We can access any information like images, documents, etc. from the web by using www. What problem did the World Wide Web solve? So Berners-Lee, a researcher working at CERN or CRN, created the World Wide Web. It solved the communication problem for the celluloid scientists and changed human existence as we know it. What is the difference between a server and a browser? Web browser is an application program that displays a World Wide Web document. It usually uses the internet service to access the document. Web server is a program or the computer that provides services to other program called client. The web browser requests the server for the web documents and services. And there has also been a problem in the world of the internet. Not just one but 7 major internet problems, which is world of internet, cloud attacks, all-built security issues, botnet problems, limited all, lack of confidence, understanding lot or LOT. I've added a definition and you can read and understand it better. Thank you, that's all.
Good morning everyone, I am Porsha Mae Cemacio, the reporter of Applications of Computers in Science and Research. One of the significant applications of computers for science and research is evident in the field of bioinformatics. So what is a bioinformatics? Bioinformatics is the application of information technology to store, organize, analyze amount of biological data which is available in the form of sequences and structures of proteins, which is the building blocks of organisms, and nucleic acids, the information carrier. Bioinformatics was established because of a need to create large databases of biological sequences, because the human brain cannot store all the genetic sequences of organisms, and this huge amount of data can only be stored, analyzed, and be used efficiently with the use of computers. To explain furtherly from the pharmaceutical industry's point of view, bioinformatics is the key to rational drug discovery. It reduces the number of trials in the screening of drug compounds and in identifying potential drug targets for a particular disease using power computing workstations and software like Insight. In plant biotechnology, it is found to be useful in the areas of identifying diseases, resistance genes, and designing plants with high nutrition value. A molecular modeling, which requires a lot of calculations, has become faster due to the advances in computer processors and its architecture. Next is Swiss Prot Protein Sequence Database. Swiss Prot is a correlated protein sequence database which strives to provide a high level of annotation, a minimal level of redundancy, and a high level of integration with other databases. It is also the development of a consolidated formal database where the initial databases of protein sequences were maintained at individual laboratories. Swiss Prot Protein Sequence Database is also initiated in 1986. It now has about 70,000 protein sequences from more than 5,000 model organisms. Computers and software tools are widely used for generating these databases and to identify the function of protein, model the structure of protein, determining the coding regions of nucleic acid sequences, find suitable drug compounds from a large pool, and optimize the drug development process by predicting possible targets. Some of the software tools which are handy in the analysis include BLAST Annotator and Gene Finder. BLAST is used for comparing sequences, Annotator an interactive genome analysis tool, and a Gene Finder is a tool to identify coding regions and splice sites. The sequence information generated by the Human Genome Research initiated in 1988 has now been stored as a primary information source for future application in medicine. It has a huge available data that, if compiled in book, the data would run into 200 volumes of 1,000 pages each, and reading alone would require 26 years of working around the clock. The much-celebrated Complete Human Genome Sequence, which was formally announced on June 26, 2000, involved more than 500 times 1018, which is also 500 million trillion. This result can be considered as the biggest exercise in the history of computational biology.
I am Ayesha Ampatuan. Here I am again, but this time I'm going to discuss about how to check the reliability of web sources. The internet contains a vast collection of highly valuable information, but it may also contain unreliable, biased information that mislead people. So here are the following guidelines that can help us check the reliability of web sources that we gather. It is noteworthy to consider and apply the following guidelines to avoid misinformation. First guideline: who is the author of the article or site? Look for an about or more about the author link at the top, bottom, or sidebar of the web page. Some pages will have a corporate author rather than a single person as an author. If no information about the author or authors of the page is provided, be suspicious. Does the author provide his or her credentials? What type of expertise does he or she have on the subject he or she is writing about? Does he or she indicate what his or her education is? Second, what type of experience does he or she have? Should you trust his or her knowledge of the subject? Then try searching on the internet for more information about the author. Look if there are other websites that is associated with the author's name. Is he or she affiliated with any educational institution? Do commercial sites come up? Do the websites associated with the author give you any clues to particular biases the author might have? So, second guideline: who published the site? How to find out? Look at the domain site of the website that will tell you who is hosting the site. Example, Lee College Library website is that in the example in the screen. So, we can see that the domain name is lee.edu. This tells us that the library website of Lee College Library is hosted by Lee College. So another thing, search the domain name at this website, the www.whois.sc. This site provides information about the owners of registered domain names. What is the organization's main purpose? Check the organization's main website if it has one. Is it educational, commercial, or it is from a reputable organization? Do not ignore the suffix of the domain, because the suffix is usually but not always descriptive of what type of entity hosts the website. Keep in mind that it is possible for sites to obtain suffixes that are misleading. So here are some example. Pag yung suffix niya is .edu, it means educational. Pag .com means commercial. Pag .mil, ibig sabihin military. Pag .gov naman, government ang nagpapatakbo. Then .org, non-profit. So, dito naman tayo sa third guidelines. What is the main purpose of the site? Why did the author write it or why did the publisher post it? So, is it to sell a product? Or is it a personal hobby? Or a public service? Or is it to provide general information on a topic? Or is it to persuade a particular point of view? Fourth guideline. Who is the intended audience? Is it scholars or the general public? Which age group is it written for? Is it aimed at people from particular geographic area? Or is it aimed at members of a particular profession or with specific training? Fifth guideline that we should look into. What is the quality of information provided on the website? Timeliness. When was the website first published? Is it regularly updated? Check for dates at the bottom of each page on the site. Second, does the author cite sources? Just as in print sources, web sources that cite their sources are considered more reliable. Then, what type of other sites does the website link to? Are they reputable sites? Last, what types of sites link to the website you are evaluating? Is the website being cited by others? So, that are some of the following guidelines that can help us check the reliability of our web sources. That would be all, and thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Eideliela Paguital, and let's proceed to the examples of useful and reliable web sources. This is how to check the reliability of the web sources that we usually use or we might use in the future. The first one is AFA e-newsletter. This is founded by the Alzheimer's Foundation of America newsletter. Second, American Memory, the Library of Congress Historical Digital Collection. Third, bartleby.com, Great Books Online, a collection of free ebooks including fictions, non-fictions, references, and verses. Fourth, Chronicling America. This is for the search and view pages from American newspaper from 1880 to 1922. Fifth, the Cyberbullying, a free collection of ebooks from eBrary plus additional reports and documents to help better understand, prevent, and take actions against these growing concerns. Next, drug information websites. The first one is National Library of Medicine's Medline Plus. Second, drugs.com. Third, PDR Health. These websites will help you to seek knowledge about drug informations. Next, Global Gateway, World Culture and Resources from the Library of the Congress. Google Books and googlescholar.com. These websites are known by the students, especially for those who tried to make research papers or the thesis, because in these websites there are related articles and references that you might use in your study. Next, history sites with primary documents. First, AmDocs, documents for the study of American history. Second, Avalon Project, documents in law, history, and diplomacy. Third, Internet Modern History Sourcebook, Colonial Latin America. And lastly, Teacher Oz's Kingdom of History. Next, Illinois Digital Archives, the Illinois State Library working with libraries, museums, and historical societies in Illinois provides this collection of materials related to Illinois history. Internet Archive, a digital library of internet sites and other cultural artifacts in digital form. Next, Internet Archive for Carly digitized resources. Internet Public Library. Next, IP12, a merger of Librarians Internet Indexed and Internet Public Library. Special interests may be include the Literacy Criticisms page, which can be found after clicking on the Special Collections link. Next, Librarians Internet Indexed. Next, Making of America, a digital library of primary sources in American social history. Maps from the University of Texas at Austin collection includes historical and thematic maps. Next, Nation Master, a massive central data source and a handy way to graphically compare nations. Next, nursing sites. The first one is AHRQ, or you can visit the link at www.ahrq.gov. Second, National Guidelines Clearinghouse, or you can visit the link at www.guideline.gov. And lastly, PubMed, or you can visit the link at www.nlm.nih.gov. Project Gutenberg, the first and largest single collection of free electronic books with currently over 20,000 e-books available. Next, SMOOP. This is used for literature, U.S. history, and poetry information written primarily by the PhD and master students from the top universities like Stanford, Berkeley, Harvard, and Yale. Next, StateMaster, a unique statistical database which allows you to research and compare a multitude of different data on U.S. states using various primary sources such as the U.S. Census Bureau, the FBI, and the National Center for Educational Statistics. It is also uses for visualizations technology like pie charts, maps, graphs, and scatterplots to provide data. And lastly, virtual reference. This is used for selected web resources compiled by the Library of the Congress. That's all. Thank you.
To wrap up everything, technology advancement, innovation, and computers are becoming part of our daily lives. Nowadays, information can be shared or transferred quickly in just a second. By clicking or tapping a button, the information of true or not can be shared. We, people, are becoming more interested in sharing information about ourselves. We post our problems, achievements, selfies, and even our daily life routines. With this, various aspects of our society are also being influenced by the information age, especially in the communication, economic industry, health, and even our environment. But we should also be mindful about the pros and cons of this, because the rapid upgrade of information poses both positive and negative impact to our society and mostly to ourselves. Therefore, we need to carefully check our motives before disseminating information. We need to filter the information we believe into, and we also need to verify that information before believing them and using or even sharing them, because it can create massive impact towards you and the people surrounds you. We should share information that could help improve our lives and others. Information that is true and will promote positive outlook even in the darkest of times. Before we end, let us leave you a quotation by Malcolm Gladwell saying, "We live in the world saturated with information. We have come to confuse information with understanding." Once again, we are the group number 5 saying thank you for listening and have a good day ahead.